Okay. Hi, Savannah. How's it going?
Hello, it's going good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for meeting with me once again. So let's talk about your week. Let's catch me up with things.
Uh, it's been it's been hectic. I just got a lot going on with school and work, and I'm starting field work soon. I've got residency coming up. I mean, I'm worrying about everything and anything constantly, 24/7. I mean, I think I'm like overwhelmed. I I don't know even where to start. Like every part of my life is overwhelming right now, and I'm worried that something's. I mean, I'm doing good in school, and I'm getting a paycheck and that type of thing, but I just feel like it's not really worth it at the moment because I'm just like wearing myself out. I'm so like burnt out.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear that you're very tired, and essentially, I can
Yes.
almost hear it in your voice as well. At one point, I know
Mhm.
I saw you kind of scratching your head, and I was wondering if like that was also corresponding to like the things that are happening in your life right now.
Yeah, it's just I'm just so yeah. It's I think that's the thing. I'm overwhelmed or something. Like I just I don't know. I wish something time would just slow down or something because I feel like it's just going so fast and I can't keep up with everything.
Mm,
And it's just causing me to worry and have a lot of anxiety that I'm doing stuff wrong. And I mean, I know I'm doing good because I'm getting good grades and I'm going to work and stuff. But, other things I want to be doing, I can't do because I'm so tired and after work and school that, I mean, like I want to go to the gym, but I can't even go to do that because I'm just so tired. I'm like, too late, too tired. I'm going to bed. As soon as I get off work, I'm gonna sleep, wake up around 10, stay up for a few minutes, and then go right back to bed. Like I sleep most of the time, and I'm just anxious and worried that I could be doing better. Like there has to be something that I can do to be like to
mm.
be more active after I get off work or something. I'm just anxious about everything. I don't know anymore.
Mm. So let's kind of bring it back to last week. I know last week when we ended the session, we kind of spoke about different things that you can implement to kind of help tackle that weariness and you feeling very anxious and these other symptoms that you're even presenting to me right now. Um, we spoke about implementing journaling and
Mhm.
also being able to kind of help you expose yourself or not expose yourself but like getting out of that comfort zone of that let's say instead of I know you mentioned earlier that you've been wanting to go to the gym but you haven't been able to um
Yeah.
so this past week has been very hectic for you. Have you tried implementing some of the interventions that we spoke about last week to try tackling that?
I actually haven't, but I did go out and buy the journal. I
Oh,
guess that's a step.
that's a step.
uh, I've been meaning to, but I just haven't had the chance. I literally, as soon as I get done with work, which is from 8 to 4:30 p.m., I start on my homework. I don't usually get done with that until 10 or 11, and then I'm just out to bed, and then I have to wake up at 7:15 to start work again, and then repeat, 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 repeat. Like
Right.
I literally have, like I said, I just feel burnt out. It's just the same thing every day
Mhm.
all over again, and it's just really annoying, and I don't have no other word for it. It's just annoying. Like I just need a change of pace, I think. And then all this stuff that's coming up is just I'm so worried. Like I don't even know what to do. I know residency is coming up soon, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I'm so worried. Like I don't know anything. I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know anything about the hotel. I don't know anything about food wise. I don't know anything about parking. I don't know anything. And I
Mhm.
am just freaking out.
Mhm. Do you feel like as residency is coming up, those intensified feelings are becoming even more intense?
Yes, they are. And I'm trying my hardest not to think about them because I'm just at this moment, this class and alone that I'm doing, completing is really, it's just overwhelming and crazy and like not realistic at all.
Mm.
Um, so I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to focus on that one, like these two classes that I'm currently in and trying to keep my thoughts in the present and not in the future because I know if I start thinking about the future, then that's going to cause a lot more anxiety and worry because, it's a future. I can't control anything yet. I mean, I just have to let it be and then hope it works out. So I'm just trying really hard to not think about it, which I know is not good because avoiding it's not going to make it go away.
Right. You mentioned that you're trying. Paint me a picture of that. What does that look like?
So, like when I'm thinking about residency, I try to, so if, like I'm avoiding it. Like as soon as I start thinking residency, I'm like, nope, my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts just shut down and I go try to do something else to not even think about it. So I'll probably like read a book, listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
uh, do other homework or talk to a boyfriend or something, do something, anything to not think about it because that residency situation is so anxiety provoking that it makes me want to get sick. Like I there's so much stuff that I need to know and have planned out ahead of time and I don't know nothing, nothing's planned and I'm not the person that does that. I've got to have everything planned, everything organized, everything, like perfect. Like and I don't have nothing. Like it's just so disorganized, nothing's perfect, nothing's done. It feels like I'm procrastinating and I'm not a procrastinator and
Mm-hmm.
it's just oh I don't have words. I'm just jumbled. Everything's jumbled, and I don't like it.
So you feel like you're being pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, and your procrastination is not helping at all. Now, I know you mentioned that you bought the journal, but you haven't started doing it. If you were to, if you need a break, we could take a break. It's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Now, let's take your thoughts and your feelings, and what if you wrote them down? What do you think? Do you think that would help, or if
Actually, yes, I do. I've been wanting to do that even when I bought the journal. Like, usually thinking about that, I hadn't even went out and gotten the journal. Because,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I'm just putting it off. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. But when last time we talked, I was really thinking about it. He was like, I know. And I was like, you know what? This might actually really help
Mhm.
because maybe I'm thinking things, but I'm not, and in the long run, actually thinking of everything and I'm missing certain parts that's good. And so I definitely want to start journaling. And I definitely think writing stuff down and getting it out on a piece of paper would be therapeutic to me. Um, so yeah, I definitely want to incorporate that. And like I said, I did literally go out and buy the journal. It's right here.
Nice. Oh, what a beautiful journal. Pretty colors.
I just have not wrote in it yet. I have the pens in the journal. I just have not wrote in it yet. So I definitely want to do it. So I'm at the step where I bought the journal. I just got to get in the habit of start journaling every day. And then even if it's something as small, maybe in a couple of sentences or a paragraph, and then working my way up. Yeah.
It's a big step. Just buying the journal alone is a very, very big step. So, I'm very proud of seeing you being able to, get out of that comfort zone, and you want to build a new routine. But now
Yeah.
the challenging part is actually implementing it. You did step one,
Mm-hmm.
which was buying the
Yeah.
journal. So now step two is essentially making things happen now, kind
I've
of,
been.
putting things in gear, or like even turning on a car. Step one was
Mm-hmm.
getting in, closing the door. Step two is turning the ignition on.
Key.
Um,
Yeah.
exactly. So, that it's very empowering itself. It's just buying the journal. And, we had mentioned last week was part of the interventions for one of your objectives was to write essentially in the journal. um you know and I think, don't think of the journal as also like a task, another task that you have to do during that day. Think of it more
Yeah.
as a relaxation technique, which is
Good
something
technique.
we'll talk about later. is trying to help you kind of decrease that anxiousness. And also use that journal as like a to-do list. Make a little list of
Okay.
things you need to do that day too. It could be something simple like doing some chores, or
Okay.
maybe make uh I'm trying to think of the word, um like implementing the time of that you need to do something, so that way you don't feel so overwhelmed, because I know you have other tasks such as your job and then being in school,
Yeah.
plus looking into residency, when and where it's going to happen, how you're going to get
Hmm.
there, where are you going to eat, where are you going to stay, all that.
Hmm.
I literally see you being pulled in different directions, but now it's time to get
Yeah.
Savannah grounded, and Savannah's headspace in one place. And I think this
Yeah.
journal will be really helpful for you, because you can just write down anything you want.
Yeah.
You can babble in it, or anything. Just use that
Yeah.
technique, and see how that
Yeah.
goes.
And just being able to, I think, to look back at it,
Mhm.
and see what I'm actually writing down and what's
Right,
going on, I think will be very helpful too.
right. No, I
Because
completely.
I have the worst memory ever. I can't remember anything to save my life.
Mhm. Well, you see, that's another good thing about the journal. That way you can kind of look back on it and see, wow, if you wrote down what you did that day and it was pretty hectic, you can just kind of look back to it and see, wow, I really overcame that. And then, or
Yeah.
then making like a list of the things that you need to do that day too. And I think it would be really beneficial for you to just kind of get your head straight, instead of
Yeah.
pulled in all these different directions that life is giving you. Let's try to write it down and get a little organized with it too.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree. That would be a great intervention.
and yeah. Um, so with that, let's see. So we talked about the interventions and the objective of writing the techniques in the journal. Another thing that I heard was that when you are feeling like you're being pulled in all these different directions, you reverted back to your coping skills, such as listening to music or speaking to your boyfriend. And then I'm sorry, you listed something else, but I really don't.
Reading a book.
Reading a book. There you go. Thank you. Um, and those are great, because though that is essentially one of the objectives that we spoke about last week, was implementing these coping skills. So you may not feel that you're implementing it, but you actually are, in a healthy way too. They're healthy coping skills. It'd be different if you came back to me today and saying that you, in order to cope with all the stressors in your life, you're drinking alcohol, or you're doing other drugs, but instead you're reading a book. So you're stimulating your mind, you're learning, and then you're speaking to your loved one, and that helps you kind of calm down and regulate yourself too. So I think you're doing great, even though you think that you're not, you are. So I'm really happy to hear that from you, that you were able to do that this week.
Yeah, and another thing that like helps me cope is, so like I love animals, so I
Mhm.
have my dog Morgan, and then I just got a new puppy,
Yeah.
and so she kind of
Last.
helps me as well. Yeah, so I like she sleeps with me and everything, so she's kind of a relaxing thing as well.
Right. No, that's good. She's like your little support animal too.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yep.
know I know you had mentioned earlier that you tried going to exercise. And from last week, that was one of our objectives as well, is to try to get you to kind of be in a little bit more movement. Now that you have a puppy, what are some ways that you could try to implement exercising into it a little bit more?
Yes, I actually have been, going outside a lot more, even to take her out. And like today, I went out with her. I tried chasing around, walking around with her for a while, and then I mean, I didn't walk around the second time. I had to sit down and kind of do my homework, but I still went outside to, with her. Um, but I definitely am going outside a lot more, and I plan to just keep stepping that up. I've been researching other things that I could try as well. Like I have like this Pinterest app where I save like exercises that I could do at my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been researching that and saving them. And then I also have been looking into like this person that I know from my childhood. Her daughter does like this exercise work type group, and it seems really interesting. And I've been kind of looking into that as well. Maybe in the future that I could do. Like I said, I've been looking into stuff, but I actually haven't actually done anything. So I mean, like you said, I've done the first step. I just need to start the second step.
Right. And it takes time, Savannah. This is not something, that you're going to do overnight. This
Yeah.
this therapeutic process honestly takes time, but it also takes a lot of motivation. And that's exactly what I'm hearing from you, is that you're motivated to
Yeah.
change. We just have to
Yes.
do the next step now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. With our objectives, once again, it was trying to implement some type of like calming skills and techniques to kind of help you kind of regulate your anxiety. And then with that was part of like the exercise piece to it. And you mentioned that one of your childhood friends has a practice that that you feel that can be very beneficial. Do you think that that's something that you're gonna want to do before or after residency?
I definitely think it's gonna have to be after residency.
Mm,
I literally have got so much going on. Like I honestly, even if I joined that group, I wouldn't do anything that she did. And I
mm,
have to pay for it. And I'm not gonna pay for it if I'm not gonna actually do it.
yeah.
It's not that I can't say that I don't have the motivation, because I do. I really want to lose weight. I really, really, really do.
Mm,
But like just time wise, it's just for me, I feel like I can only do a certain amount of stuff and only really, really, really focus on something like at one time. I'm not really good. I mean, I can multitask, but I'm not very good at it.
mm,
And I really usually just like to focus on one thing
yeah.
that way, and then I can start on the next thing I have to do, and then the next thing. And I know it's really bad that I'm putting my physical health last, but then again, my schooling and work's important right now. Like I gotta have a paycheck to even survive. So that kind of stumps over the physical. My school stumps over those two, because I'm not going to be able to get my actual career in a job if I don't finish school. I can't get a job in my field if I don't complete school. So it's kind of, I'm trying to work on school. It's my main thing. And then I'm, working a job, trying to maintain a check, pay bills, survive. And then once I get like one of those completed, then maybe I can start trying to slowly work my way into like the physical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like trying to do three things at once is not possible for me. Like even trying to do school and work right now, I'm working full time plus doing the school. It's just right now it's just taxing. Like I said, I'm burnt out already, and I know that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And I think adding something else to it it will just defeat me. Like I won't even get up anymore. Like it's just I'm done. Like I don't care. So yeah, I definitely want to do the exercise thing, and I want to keep researching about, like, because I keep seeing videos on my Facebook about it, and I'm gonna keep looking into it and so maybe I could start sometime in maybe February or March or somewhere around there.
Okay. I know you mentioned that you're burnt out. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about that. What could we do to kind of help you not get out of that little state that you're in right now?
Really, I mean, to not be burnt out is to either quit this job that I'm at and then try to find something that's less draining mentally.
Mhm.
I mean, after work, I mean, it's not like it's the hardest thing in the world, but it is so much information to learn. Like it is so draining, because not only I'm sitting at a computer from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and then going straight to the schoolwork from
Mhm.
4:30 p.m. until almost 10 p.m. I'm sitting in a chair for like the whole day, and then learning information the whole day. Like it is mentally draining. Like I mean, I've never went to bed before like 6 or 7, and that's so easy now. Like it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
And I'm just out on work that way. School, I'm not really, I love school. I
Mhm.
always have since 5th grade. Only thing I can complain about school right now, I am a little burnt out on like the homework aspect, like
Mhm.
writing papers, doing discussions and stuff. But I mean, that's part of the thing. I don't think I'm like burnt out. I'm just like, I'm at the point where I just need a break for school. Like,
Right.
just give me like a 2 week break or something, or a 3 week break, something, just a long little break right there, and then I'll be ready to go again. But the
Mhm.
work aspect, it's like I'm really burnt out, and I just started the job. Like, I just started August 15th,
Mhm.
and I mean, it did help with my sleep schedule. It's got my sleep schedule turned around in a good way. So I mean, there is some positives to it, and I make good money. But even though I do now know that I'm going to have to quit this job because of field work starting,
Mhm.
because my field work is evolved with the same hours of this job, and it won't work. And so, I mean, eventually I'm going to be quitting this job, and have to find another one so I won't be as burnt out. So maybe until the meantime, I don't know. Maybe I could try to find something to
Mhm.
be cause me to not feel burnt out. I mean, I don't know what it could be, but other than just trying to just work through it and just go one day at a time, I don't know what else I could really do.
Mhm.
I know I don't got much longer. I only got like 2 months left before I have to quit. So
Once you get a break from school, what will you do?
so I'm expecting like, so after these 2 classes coming up in like a week or so or two, I'll get like a little break, which that's nice. And then I will only be taking one class this coming semester. That's a little bit nice.
Mhm.
Um, I think that we get a bigger break sometime around Christmas time into January, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to because it's a little like a 2 week I think break before, and that's before I start field work.
Mhm.
And so then I think I'm really good because I'm not actually doing schoolwork. I'm not going to be actually out in my field doing the actual career that I'm learning to do. So I really think I'll be a lot more happier once I get to that point. But even for the next class, I think I'll be happy just having a short break, like a week break. Because I feel like so far this last few classes, not just these two, but the two before that, we've just gone to boom, 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 like we just haven't had a break, and it's really taxing.
Right. You feel like everything's going pretty fast paced. And then with residency coming up, it's just one other test that you have to be worried about. And then you started
Yeah,
a new job like a couple of months ago too. So you just feel like
yeah,
you're just in this fast pace routine
yeah,
right now, and you just kind of want to slow down and,
yes,
regulate yourself. Mhm.
yeah.
And then you mentioned that you have a better paying job now. So how do you feel your anxiety in the financial stressor that you use that you have? Has that kind of decreased? Has it increased?
It doesn't really help, honestly. I mean, I do make a little bit more money, but I mean, it's still, my financial worries are still the same. I mean, we have a lot of the bills and they're really high.
Hmm.
Like our rent is like 800. I have a car payment that's 500. We have electric that's 300. We have like, I mean, it's outrageous. The bills are outrageous. Like, and I mean, we don't, it's not like we have extra stuff, like literally. I pay for like two, like Netflix and one of my Viki shows for foreign TV shows that
Hmm.
I watch. Other than that, I don't have any. Well, I do iTunes because I have to listen to music when I'm driving. Other
Hmm.
than that, I don't have anything else. The rest are just normal high bills that you have to pay to survive.
Hmm.
And so, even with that amount of money that I make, I'm still not doing good enough to pay the bills that need to be on time, and not have to stress and worry. So I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like that's always going to be an issue. And then, but maybe when I'm in my career, it won't be as bad because then I can start getting my own house. And, trying to get in my own routine and not, I'm 26 years old and I still live with my mom. That drives me crazy. But then again, it saves so much money instead of having to go on campus, live on campus.
Mhm.
I didn't want to get a house by myself yet because I didn't think I know I can't work full time in the beginning when we first started this, when I first started my master's degree program. And
Mhm.
so I just wanted to stay home and save as much money as I could. So
Mhm.
I feel like once I break out on my own and start doing my job, everything will be it could become a lot easier, a lot more relaxing. I feel like I'm just being pushed. Like, here, do this, like, do that. I'm like, oh my God, slow down. But yeah, you're
Okay.
totally right. I'm pulled like in different directions, and I don't know. I'm just stuck because like I want to do all three of them at the same time, but it's just not physically possible.
Right.
So
And essentially, with these therapy sessions, is to kind of help you do some um, create like a self journey to for you to not feel so stuck, and then I can literally see it and I can hear it in your voice how you're overwhelmed with all these different life events that are happening with you right now. And being in graduate school is not easy, so you alone just completing your master's program and you're almost done. You're about to go into residency and you're about to do field work. You have all these different achievements in your belt, but at the same time it's very stressful because you have to work really hard in order to achieve the goal of being a counselor, and
yeah,
once again, it's tough. Being in graduate school is tough. But with that being said, I know in the intake that we had originally done, you mentioned that you were having medications. You were taking medications. Are you still taking those medications today?
yes, I'm still taking all of them.
Okay.
Um, and they have helped. I
Mhm.
do gotta say that they have helped. Um, they have helped with my anxiety. They have helped with my depression, and
Mhm.
they have helped with my OCD. So, because I have like a tendency, I have to have everything organized
Mhm.
and perfect, and if it's not, it's like my anxiety just starts going crazy. Like I've got to fix it, that type of thing.
Mhm.
Um, my anxiety was really bad there for a while. Like I was like going crazy over everything to the point where sometimes I was having panic attacks.
Mhm.
Um, and then my depression was getting so bad that I started to have thoughts of suicide. Like I mentioned, they were just thoughts. They were
Mhm.
passive. They weren't active. I didn't have plans or intent or anything like that. But when you start thinking about wanting to die, then you need help. And
Mhm.
as that's why I was like, you know what, I've got to do something. And if medication's the first start, then I need to get on it. And
Mhm.
and at the same time, I was going to therapy, but then we had to cancel because of reasons. And I haven't got back into counseling yet because that's
Mhm.
another thing I do want to do. But then again, I'm not going to have time for it, and I don't want to be paying for something that I don't have time for.
Mhm.
So I mean, eventually, I plan to go back and do do a couple sessions. Do what I need to do,
Mhm.
and but another one of those things. It's going to have to wait.
Mhm. Savannah, if I'm gonna be very realistic with you. I think in order for you to achieve the goals that you want to, you need to put yourself first. What I what I really want to prevent is you having, these suicidal thoughts once again, and
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned, you're burnt out. And
Yeah.
it could go into even more slope of even feeling even more burned out and to the point where you're gonna, potentially even kill yourself. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
ask right now on how are you feeling on like on a scale of 1 to 10 on sorry, 0 to 10, like 0 not thinking about it to 10, I've been thinking about it a little bit more frequently than before. Do you feel like you've been thinking about it a little bit more than beforehand?
Actually, no. The medication is that I take is very well for that.
Okay.
If I was to rate it, I'm at a 0 or a 1. I mean, I'm not before I wasn't taking the medication, I was probably at an 7 or an 8.
Okay.
But now I'm at like a 0 or a 1. I don't ever think about it now. Um, I do think about I always have them thoughts, why am I even on this earth? Why are we even here? Not just me alone, but everyone. I mean, this goes for everyone. Why are we even here? All we do is struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. Like, I mean, I don't do anything fun ever. I haven't since I've started school when I was little. Like all I've been thinking about is bills, and even when I was younger, because like I said, I only was raised by a single parent, and and since I've reached adulthood, I've done nothing but school and work, school and work, school and work, school and work, school and work. And so, I mean, like, I just have them thoughts. It's not that I want to die, but I have them thoughts like, why in general? Why are we on this earth? Why did he put us on this earth? Is it just a struggle, or is there some other meaning that I'm missing, or what? Because like, it's not really thoughts of suicide. It's just I guess it's self-doubt of why we're
Mm-hmm.
on this planet, or what we were made to do to be on this planet, because that's why I think having that sense of purpose of uh, being able to complete my graduate and get into my career is so important for me, is
Mm-hmm.
because that is my sense of purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what keeps me going. If I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do,
Mm-hmm.
because literally God, my big sister, is the ones that have made me realize that my sense of purpose in life, and that's helping people. And I've always wanted to do that since I was young. And so without those two people, I don't know what I'd be doing, honestly. Don't know where I'd be. I probably wouldn't be in a good situation.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing that you're having like a lot of negative thoughts, and one of the interventions that we're going to be tackling is how to change those negative thoughts to positive thoughts. So, I know in one that you stated that you were having with having all these different stressors, you're having negative thoughts such as like the whys. You're having those why questions. How could we change those whys, those negative thoughts, to positive ones?
Um, Maybe thinking about ways or listing ways of, like writing out the negatives, that because I've already forgotten what I've said, but my memory's bad. So writing out what I've said negatively, and then going back and saying, okay, what can I say positively to that? Because I already know subconsciously that the negative thought isn't right,
Mm-hmm.
and that I can be positive. It's just my negative is just more prominent, but I can make that positive more prominent if I want it to be. But the negative is so overwhelming and taxing that that's what's showing instead of the positive. That's why I'm so pessimistic than optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think maybe making out a list of negatives and positives will help
Mm-hmm.
that thought process.
Okay, I agree. So let's do that right now. So before you mentioned, why am I here? So let's take that question and let's change it to in a positive, or at least respond to that question in a positive way. So once again, the question is, why are you here? What would your response be?
I am here to help people
Mm-hmm.
become better versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that's something that you could write down in your journal when you're like having these thoughts? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like
And
that was very easy to come to mind. And I think it's very possible to do. Just like you said, just making myself is going to be the
mm-hmm. It's the doing part that is the challenging part, right?
yeah.
And as we're speaking about this, I kind of printed out a lot of different things for you, just like
Cool.
psychoeducational worksheets. Like for example, this one is that we tried tackling that challenging irrational thought, such as the why am I here? Um, so with this worksheet, it just kind of teaches you how we could kind of change that something bad will happen, or I will make a mistake, or why am I here? These lack of evidences, how that impacts your feelings per se, and those thoughts. So yeah, these are just all different things. This one teaches you how it's like a imagery relaxation technique. It teaches you some deep breathing and also muscle relaxation as well. Different things that you can incorporate as like in your coping skill, for your coping skills.
Okay.
And then also I have this paper is maybe something that we could try doing together in a different session. It's just like a little introduction to your diagnoses, which is generalized anxiety. It kind of briefly states that anxiety is a body response to situations that are being interpreted as threatening. Without any anxiety, you would probably make bad decisions such as driving too fast on the highway or not paying your bills. However, too much anxiety could lead to avoidance or unpleasant physical, emotional, and cognitive symptoms. We kind of already spoke about in the previous sessions, it's like some triggers that you have that causes anxiety, such as the financial worry, your questions on like, why are you here, those negative thoughts, and how that kind of like trickles down. It also states, it also provides you like a way for you to kind of list the physical symptoms that you feel from the anxiety. Uh, could you list three physical symptoms that you feel when you're feeling a little anxious?
Uh, Physical symptoms. Probably my heart beats fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's really physical, but my face turns red, my arms turn red. You can see my veins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this. Don't know if it's really physical, but I really talk fast. Like I just want to get it over with. Like I don't want to speak anymore. Like I'm like I am now, actually, but even faster.
Those are all physical symptoms from anxiety, and that's what kind of makes you unique too. My
Yeah.
physical symptoms of anxiety won't are really the same ones that you listed, so thank you for sharing with that. um
Yeah.
this worksheet also states, what are the three thoughts that you usually have that tend to make you feel anxious?
So that's kind of like like this is for financial stress because that's usually when I start getting anxious and start worrying and then more worrying and then more worrying. So I mean right now I've got good grades, but if I do something bad, so now that I just did this video for this class and I know that I did bad, now I'm worrying about it. Now I'm going to keep worrying about it. And now I'm going to stress myself over it because I know I can do better. But then I also, again, I have to realize, it's just a learning process. Not everything that I do is going to be good. So I'm just trying my best to accept that. But, I'm another thing that makes me anxious is in relation to school is I'm a perfectionist. I don't have an A, I don't have 100. It drives me crazy to the point my anxiety rises and I start worrying. And then it's just a negative cycle. Like I know I can do better. Why didn't you do better? That type of thing. Like I don't know how else I could do better, but it's just like I can do better. So even if I get like a 90 or an 80 on this thing, it's going to drive me nuts because I know I can do better.
Mhm.
And I have to be perfect. Like there is no other thing besides being perfect. And so I think them would be the thoughts that cause me to get anxious, like
Mhm.
financial, school, my health, my physical health. That's another thing that makes me anxious. Like I want to lose weight, but I just keep gaining weight and it drives me crazy because like again, I want to be perfect, but it's not working. And then it just drives me crazy and it makes me worry, because my dad and my grandpa, they had diabetes and my grandma has diabetes and thinking about them, if I don't start losing some weight, I could potentially become diabetic because it runs in families and I don't want to be diabetic. And, I'm trying to keep watch on my weight. So, yeah, I think them would be the three thoughts that's most causes me anxiety, but that's the only thing that I do in life. So that's the only thing that makes me anxious.
No, it's funny when you were speaking and when you stated perfection, wanting to be that perfectionist. I noticed with your hands, you were kind of like, it's like you were trying to grab it. Your hands
Mhm.
kind of like went up too, like
Yeah,
just trying to grab it, and I thought it was funny, not funny, but I noticed it, and I noticed how
yeah,
much you want to be a perfectionist. But Savannah,
yes,
nobody's perfect. You know,
yeah,
everybody makes mistakes. Our life is just a learning process. So,
yeah.
and by
I
you,
realize that. I
mhm,
still have, it's one of them things that I can't let go. I know that in the back of my mind, I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I
mhm,
know all this. Do I, do I still think I have to be perfect? Yes. I think it all has to do with my thoughts, literally, because it doesn't matter what I think,
mhm,
because my thoughts just say, you know what, you can definitely be perfect.
mhm,
I'm personally like, I know I can't, but my mind's just like, yeah, you can. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on. So I really think it's just my thoughts. I really need to work on reframing thoughts. Like that
mhm.
is a huge thing for me. I get, even for like the meaning of life, that type of thing, and thinking negative thoughts, being pessimistic all the time. But yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think journaling will be an awesome help
Mhm.
through this. And
But I want to
yeah, I
mention
do.
that
I think
you
this is going to be
also
great.
you also did it. When you were talking about that you did the video for your school, you stated this was like one of the worst ones that you probably did. You didn't do good, but right after you said it's a learning process. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, you're still implementing, those positive thoughts or like that reframing aspect of it
Mm-hmm.
without even realizing it. And I bet you do
Yeah,
not. you
I,
know,
I probably do. But then it reverts back to I still did bad. But then I keep thinking it's like, well, I tried my best, but I still did bad. Like,
right.
I'm just going to have to, I guess, rephrase where I did my best.
Hmm.
Even if I did bad, I still did my best, and try to switch it that way. So the bad is not first and the good is first.
Yeah.
Maybe thinking like that instead of the other way. But for right now, I think it's the negatives always first, and then I do the positive, and then the negative, and then the positive. So it's a bad cycle. I gotta switch it.
I'm
I need to
curious to
practice
see
that in my journal too.
exactly what I was going to get at. I'm curious to see in your journaling if you're going to do the same thing, if you're going to put the negative first, then the positive, or if you're going to reword it completely different too.
I'm kind of interested too now that you mentioned it.
Wow. Yeah. So
Huh.
you see, I'm glad that even you even caught on to what you stated too, that you are implementing the reframing just in a different way. And you're not,
Yeah.
in a sense, you're not like you're saying it, but you didn't realize it, So
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught on to it now. And essentially that is what counseling is for me to be able to see your positives without you even realizing that you're doing something even more extraordinary than what you're thinking that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, it's all about reframing, your thoughts and also just having that awareness too. Because
Yeah.
it's also this is just like I said, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
It's not something that's gonna happen day one. So, but now I feel like now that you're gonna be a little bit more aware of some of the things that you're
Mhm.
saying and even listening to the positives or that like self
Yeah.
encouragers now too.
Yeah, really, that I would. And now that you pointed it out, I probably do that a lot and didn't even notice that. Well, that's something. I learned something today. A couple things today
Right.
that I didn't know before.
And
Oh
and
man.
it's a learning process, and
Yeah.
before we end the session, like I said, I printed out different things for you to kind of read over on your own time, and don't feel like this is like another homework or another task that you need to do for me or even for you too. This is just things that, just to kind of have. And once you get a chance, maybe you find it interesting and you want to read it. And especially since you want to become a counselor too, even though it's more things that you got to read, don't feel like it's a task per se. So what I printed out was like just a general description of your disorder, which is like generalized anxiety. It provides you list of like cares, some things of the diagnoses. It talks about the medications as well. I even highlighted certain medications for you to take. For example, with your disorder, having antidepressants is a really good medicine for you to take. These psychotropics include the SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Um, and from my understanding, you're still taking these medications too, so I won't get into detail since you're already speaking to your psychiatrist about it. But it is something that I wanted to kind of disclose with you too. And another thing I want to disclose with you is that as a counselor, I am not able to provide you medications. I'm not able to prescribe you these medications. So once again, this is something that you would like, if you feel like you need to switch it up, speak to your psychiatrist about it. That is out of my scope of practice. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and also I have a little homework for you. Once again, don't feel like it's a task. I feel like this is something that would be pretty beneficial for you. So this is like a thought log. So
Okay.
for example, in this column, you're gonna write down the events that happened, and this one will be the thoughts that you had from that event. Next you will write down your consequences, such as like consequence. Yeah. The emotion or the behavior that happened when you had those thoughts from that event. And then you could write down a potential alternative response from that emotion and behavior, from that thought, from that event. Um,
Okay.
and you can probably use this as, instead of the journaling, or if you still want to implement the journaling, you can implement this too, just to kind of have a visualization of your thought process and such, and how you can even respond in a different way too. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, I got a bunch of different things for you. Oh, and then like I have another, this is like a relaxation technique too. I'm not going to go into full detail because we had practiced the grounding technique last week. So like I said, you could read it on your own time. It talks about the deep breathing again, the imagery, the muscle relaxations and such. And then one thing that I do wanted to kind of share with you that I thought would be really good would be the mental health benefits of exercising. Like how you mentioned you wanted to get into exercising a little bit more. This will kind of states the importance of exercising, such as because you're feeling these anxiety symptoms, um this can help with like, the exercising will help with like sleep difficulties, the stress, the physical health, low energy, and even self-esteem, which is something that we can see that you are struggling with.
Yeah.
It talks about beginning exercise plans such as like weightlifting, sprinting, or interval training, sorry, or climbing. It even talks about even low impact exercising, such as walking, jogging, biking, the elliptical, or swimming, or even dancing too. So you could try implementing these low impact, such as like walking with your new puppy that you got. She's gonna have a lot of energy, I bet. So she's maybe you can release it. you know. So when you'd be getting that physical exercise, but also you'll be helping out with your anxiety symptoms too by just taking her out for a walk. Um, and then also while you're walking, you can be either talking to the puppy or speaking on the phone with your loved ones or listening to music, listening to a podcast, and or even like an audiobook too. That would be really good.
Okay.
Having those little techniques too, just and try doing it maybe like for 30 minutes. Doesn't have to be long because I know you have already a long and vigorous schedule. So, but even taking
Yeah.
30 minutes or even 10 minutes a day, or however you feel like it works best for your schedule, doing these little things will help with your mental health too, and the puppy too, because he's gonna need the walks.
Oh yeah, she's got about the energy for 4 children.
You see? Oh no. So you see, even more, let her release that energy and you get your cardio working, and even taking a couple of minutes off of the screen too, because you mentioned that your work,
Yeah.
you're in a screen all day, and then you come home to do your homework and such, you're in a screen, you're in front of a screen again. Take that time to get out of the screen. Take that time,
Yeah.
get some sunlight, spend time with your loved ones, the puppy,
Yeah.
gonna need a lot of attention. Take that time to get away and focus on yourself and focus on the people around you. Um, so, it doesn't have to be exercising. It's just taking a couple of minutes for yourself too. That I feel like that would really help out a lot, especially since you've been saying that you've been feeling really, really burnt out. So it's time to put Savannah first now.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So how are you feeling right now, in the moment? I'm just trying to check in with you and see how are you feeling right now.
I've actually liked this session. I've liked the interventions. I definitely think I can do them, and they're very realistic.
Mhm.
Um, I'm actually feeling really good right now.
Yep,
So
okay. Well, that's
kind
good.
of want to start writing, but then I'm tired. But maybe I can start tomorrow.
Right. No, take time to to decompress. You don't want to implement even more of these thoughts and feelings into your daily stressors and stuff. Now, before a session ends, I would like to do the session rating scale just to kind of help me understand how you're feeling, and how I can even implement it in the future sessions too. So for today, please rate today's session by placing a hash mark on the line. Well, we're gonna do it verbally, but um, so for today, for the first question, our relationship. How do you feel a relationship is? On the left side of the scale is I do not feel heard, understood, or respected. And then on the right side of the scale is that you feeling heard, understood, and respected. On that scale, where do you think you are right now?
Completely on the right side.
Okay, on the right. Okay. Now this question will be pertaining to goals and topics. On the left, we have we did not work on or talk about what I wanted to work on and talk about. And on the right is we worked on and talked about what I wanted to work on and talk about. Where do you feel like you're in that scale right now?
Completely on the right again.
Okay.
We talked about everything that's relevant about my life.
Okay, good. Um, on the third question, or on the third scale, sorry, this will be pertaining the approach or methods. On the left, the therapist approach is not a good fit for me. And on the right, the therapist approach is a good fit for me. How do you feel you're on that scale?
Definitely, they're completely right. I really like the interventions, and I really think they're going to be beneficial to me. And I appreciate all the worksheets that you provided me, and all the like the examples that I can do and everything, because it does help.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you are really putting a lot of motivation and effort into this. And even just sitting in front of me is just, it's the best thing. So thank you. And lastly, overall, On the left, there is something missing in today's session, and on the right, overall today's session was right for me. How are you on that scale?
Overall, I think this last 3 sessions, 4 sessions we have done have been great. Today, I think, was the most interesting, most beneficial one to me.
Okay.
So I think overall, I like this session the best.
Okay, thank you. All this feedback is, I deeply appreciate all your feedback and everything. And I know I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of papers, but just once you have the time or you feel like you want to read, this would be a really good way for you to kind of not only read about things how you can implement it on your life, but also in the future as a counselor too. You could take all these techniques that we're going to be learning and implement them to like your future clients too.
Yeah.
So once again, Savannah, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come see me today. And yeah, we'll go ahead and schedule for next session, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah.
Bye.